Hi guys, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. So I can't believe that it's that time of the year again. I can't believe it's already June, the year is halfway up. But thankfully this tag was a lot easier for me to answer this year because I haven't been doing nearly as much reading as I have been last year. I've been a lot busier, so I haven't read a lot of books. And I've had even less 5 stars as well, so it was even easier to make some of those difficult decisions for some of the questions. So yeah, I'm just going to get started and answer the questions for this tag. So the first prompt is the best book that you've read so far this year, and this one was a tiny bit tricky for me. It was between 2 for me, but because the other option I was able to use for another answer, I've gone for this one, and it might surprise you, it might not. It shouldn't be that much of a surprise that my favourite book so far this year is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I started this book in December, finished it right at the start of the year, and then binged the rest of the books in this trilogy. I absolutely loved it, I couldn't put it down, I just wanted to find out what happened next. I loved the mixed media elements throughout the series and just how intense and dark it was for a YA. And yeah, this was, well, it's not the only YA thriller I've read now, but it was at the time, and I was really surprised at how good it was. I'd only read adult thrillers up till now. So yeah, it has to be this one. I can't, well, I could have given it to one other book, but I'll mention that one when I get to it. But yeah, really glad to have discovered this series, and I think they've just announced a TV show possibly in the works, so I'm going to be looking forward to that one as well. The next prompt is the best sequel that you've read so far this year, and for me this one has to be Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Especially after I didn't enjoy Caraval as much as I expected. I loved Legendary. It was a 4.5 stars, so almost a 5-star read for me, and I just had the best time reading this book. I loved following a different POV, we got even more interesting characters introduced, and I just had a great time reading it, so I have to give it to this book. Prompt 3 is a new release that you want to read but haven't yet. And for me, I couldn't choose between 2, so I'm going to just mention both of them. My first option is Love Forensically by Ali Hazelwood. I adored Love Hypothesis. It was a really, really great book. It was a 5-star read, and I enjoyed Love on the Brain, just not as much. But the synopsis of this one just sounds really intriguing again, and I can't wait to see what Ali Hazelwood has written next because I've loved her previous books so far. And the other one has to be Immortality, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. I read Anatomy last year, I think, and I really enjoyed it. It's a historical fiction set in Edinburgh following our main character, and she wants to be a surgeon slash doctor, but because of the time period that she's not allowed, and it's just following her in that world. It's really interesting, and it's a duology, so I really want to get to this one so I can finish up another series. The next prompt is your biggest disappointment. And for me, this one unfortunately has to go to Caraval, also by Stephanie Garber. I just thought I was going to love this one so much more than I did. Overall, it was still a good book. It was a 3-star, so a very average rating. It was just such a disappointment based on what I anticipated. It's definitely not the worst book I've read this year. I've DNF'd a book, and I think I'm going to be giving a book 2 stars as well. So it's not the worst book by far. It's just the biggest disappointment because I just had high expectations. But yeah, thankfully I really enjoyed Legendary, and I need to finish up the trilogy, so hopefully it just keeps going up from there. The next prompt is your biggest surprise, and for me, this was also my contender for favourite book of the year so far, and this has to be In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. So before this one, I'd read 2 books by TJ Klune before, no, 3, but I'd read House in the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door, and I had read The Extraordinaries, but I read that one so long ago that I don't really remember it. I just remember enjoying it, and this is my first 5-star book from TJ Klune, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I gave The Extraordinaries 5 stars. It probably was a 4. But I just adored this book so much. The characters were amazing. It was making me laugh. It nearly made me cry. I just had the best time reading this book, and yeah, definitely my favourite TJ Klune book so far. We'll see if one will top this. But yeah, I'm just finally glad that I have my own favourite TJ Klune book, because I know quite a lot of people really liked House of the Cerulean Sea, and that was just their like favourite TJ Klune book, and they would go on about it for ages. I just found that one very average. So finally glad that I found one that I love as well. The next prompt is favourite new author. This can either be a debut author or one that you've never read from before. And for me, I have to choose Holly Jackson, just because I adored The Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy so much. I binged it. I want more from that world. So yeah, I honestly have to give it to Holly Jackson. Prompt 8 is newest fictional crush. And I didn't think there was any, but looking back there were a handful. Most of them come from Caraval, so I really love Dante. He is my favourite character in the series and I absolutely adore him. But in Legendary we were introduced to Jax, and he's really intriguing and really mischievous, so I also love him too, and I can't wait to see more of him. And also from This Vicious Grace we have Dante. I'm currently in the middle of this one, but yeah, I have to go for him as well. Prompt 9 is newest favourite character, and for me I had to choose two again. I could not pick between them. Both of these characters come from In the Lives of Puppets. The first one being Rambo, our little robotic vacuum cleaner who has anxiety and just wants to have the best time with his friends. He's so cute. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum we have Nurse Ratched, also a robot. She was an old nurse model, and she is very psychotic and mean and sarcastic, but she will also do anything to help her friends, and I just loved reading that book because of these two characters, so I have to give it to them. Prompt 10 is a book that made you cry. I don't think I've had many this year actually, a lot less than last year I think for sure, and I actually struggled to think of one, but looking back I actually did cry just a little bit. At Lady of Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Dark Artifices series. Surprisingly, I didn't cry at the third book, and quite a lot of bad things happened in the third book and also throughout the whole series as well, but it was this book especially that got me, just because of the way this book ended and a twist that happened that just really shocked me so much that it made me cry, because it related to one of my favourite characters, and I can't say anything about it because it would just be pure spoilers. But yeah, I have to choose Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Prompt 11 is a book that made you happy, and for me I have to go with one of the only middle grades that I've read this year, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I just had the best time reading this book. It was so whimsical and magical and funny. And yeah, I just loved delving into this world. It was very quirky and it was just an easy read, and it just made me smile, and it was very light-hearted compared to some of the reads I've had this year, so I have to go with this one. Prompt 12 is the most beautiful book you have acquired this year, and for this one it was kind of tricky because I do get quite a lot of special edition books because I'm subscribed to Fairy Loot, and I also pick them up from Waterstones when I can as well. So I had a lot of options, and what I went for actually quite surprised me. So I have gone for Harrow the Ninth by Tasmin Muir, and this is the Illumicrate editions. So this is the standard cover, but then on the edge we have these gorgeous sprayed edges filled with bones and skulls. And then under the dust jacket we have some silver engraving on the front, and I just love the gothic vibes that this book has. And it also has some gorgeous artwork underneath the dust jacket on this one here. And yeah, I just really love this edition, not just for all the skeletons and the bones on the front, but blue is my favourite colour, so I just really love this copy. And it is a shame because so far this is my least favourite of the series, but in terms of looks, it looks beautiful and I'm glad I have it. And the final prompt number 13, is what books do you need to read before the end of the year? And I think, as always for me, I just want to prioritise finishing series. So for me, up there is the Caraval series. I've got one book left to finish that one out, and then I want to make a dent in the new books that have come out because I'm just super intrigued to find out more about all of the characters. I also am craving some more TJ Klune because of how much I enjoyed In the Lives of Puppets, so I'm thinking of possibly rereading The Extraordinaries and then finishing that trilogy as well, because I haven't read the final books before. And then the other series that I know I'm going to get to in a couple of months, I think, is the Last Hours series by Cassandra Clare. I am taking part in a read along for this, so it will be a case of reading one each month, but then I will be up to date and ready for the Wicked Powers when they eventually release. So yeah, that's just a handful of books that I want to get to. There are so many books, and unfortunately at the minute I've been in a little bit of a reading slump, so hoping I can kick myself out of there and get going again. But yeah, that was it. Those were all the prompts for the mid-year book Freakout tag. Let me know down below what your favourite book of the year is so far. I would love to know and see if it's one that I have also enjoyed, or maybe get some recommendations. But yeah, that's it. As always, I hope that you're enjoying your current read, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!